Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, April 17, year of our Lord 2026. My Picardo Jeweler's watch tells me it's 9:08 and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. A place and a country and an idea which is finally fighting for itself and its people. It's also the place where the brave, like veterans we've lost this year, but salute today thanks to John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. We lost them. Xavier Rigwalski, Nanticoke, Dorrance Beelan, Waverly, Robert Dawson, Wallopin. The United States of America, founded with the certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers that government should not, cannot, and never shall be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. But its power, because its power always means less freedom, less liberty, and less choice for Americans. Our founding fathers knew that government power, because of human nature, should only be a necessary evil designed to protect and organize society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared by law to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups or controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter what they use it for. Now, because they were armed with these freedoms, and only because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so we gavel to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. A gentle warning. This is not a safe harbor for stupidity. It will be roundly and, dare I say, harshly attacked throughout the program. We will not suffer fools gladly, regardless of their position, high or low. And their foolishness and ignorance, willful or otherwise, will be called out with intent, purpose, and vigor, designed and sadly necessary to save our great republic from evil, senselessness, weakness, all of which can bring this noble and successful experiment called America down if we do not honor our obligations and aggressively oppose all of it. And that's what we're going to do today. And we welcome you to a Friday. I don't know where these weeks go. My goshes, I don't know. Fighting silliness and stupidity and evil it's obviously hard work in some ways, but time passes too quickly. It just does. I don't know about for you guys. I look up and I was like, oh, the week is over. Hey, so the live stream of this program, you can see my smiling moon face and sometimes scowling, is brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. Roach Supply is the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania, and they're celebrating 75 years in business. RoachSupply.com, ROCHE. Now, when a company's in 75 years, okay, Ron Roach is in his, I think he's 94 or 5. Saw his son-in-law, Todd Bailey, last night. And it's unbelievable. Like, you have to, you know how good you have to be at what you do to survive for 75 years in Northeast Pennsylvania? And we're on to the 4th generation now. It's amazing. Family company. We love them, and they sponsor the live stream. So check that out. And, of course, I was also with Tina Morocco last night. She's Global Sales Advisor at Premier Sotheby's International. Their realty firm in Naples, Florida. You can look her up under Sotheby's in Florida, in Naples. Or go right to the source, Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. Now, shout out, because I saw my buddy Todd Bailey, and he's, well, this is something I enjoy doing. We got just a great guy, Dan Donlick, and he works over at Scranton Prep, and we're shouting out to him right now. Dan, hope you're having a good day. Your day starts earlier than mine, but I hope it's going well so far. And Todd delivered the message, so I'm happy you're with us. And it is. It's this large dysfunctional family that continues to grow around the country, not just here. And we're proud to be with you, and makes my day every day. It makes my week. It just makes everything better. Last night, Cutie and I and Tina Morocco, along with my son Bobby, went down to Atera for the happy hour. This is a great happy hour. And we got there early, so we had the place sort of to ourselves in the beginning anyway. It was great. But we're walking down through the University of Scranton, and a guy comes out of the John Long Center. Bobby and I were walking. And comes out of the Long Center and just gives an LTS. And I said, I'm telling you, you don't know how heartening that is. It makes you want to just work harder and harder. Not that this is hard work. He was actually doing hard work at the John Long Center. That was it. He just, LTS, he just yelled out. I gave him the thumbs up, and he went back to work. And I was telling my son Bobby, I said, the greatness of this audience, guys like that and guys like Dan Donlick, is that they're not going to pull me over and talk about foreign policy. They're just going to give a wink or a nod or an LTS, and we both go on. I said, they know what they believe. They know why they believe it. They know that they're smart enough to understand all this. They know that they're using their common sense. So nothing more need be said. Amazing. Yeah, so we got a lot to talk about today. I mean, my mother's going to kill me. But this Pope is aggravating me beyond measure. He's actually worse than the last one. Between these globalist ideas, and I got sent or found, I don't even remember at this point. He's meeting with the UN. I don't know, one of those silly titles. Basically, she's the person that's in charge of illegal migration throughout the world. How to encourage it, how to pay all these NGOs, nonprofits, including the Catholic Church, for taking care of these migrants, destroying cultures, all of that. That's what they're in charge of. And the Pope went down to Algeria, and he went to a memorial to people who fought for Algerian independence, but at the same time, these Islamists wiped out the Christians and the Catholics in Algeria. Remember, Algeria was a French colony, so it was heavily Catholic. But the Islamists killed them, including priests, including everybody. And here's our Pope paying homage to this tribute to murder of Catholics. Oh, you can interpret it any way you want. Oh, and by the way, you know what else he did? They opened a Muslim prayer room in the Vatican. Does he think he's going to go to Mecca and be able to say Mass? This is insanity. It's weakness. It's stupidity. Somebody texts in, yeah, horrible Pope encouraging compassion for your fellow man and peace between nations. Yeah, that's fine. He's going way beyond that. He's got an agenda, and it's a political agenda, and it never should be. And it's getting worse. So I do a shout out to Scranton Prep, and I criticize the Pope in the same breath, and that's fine. Why doesn't he stick to encouraging compassion for fellow man and peace between nations? Why doesn't he stick to that and shut the hell up about all this politics and globalism and appeasement to Islamists? Again, I'm still waiting for him to criticize the Iranian regime for killing hundreds of thousands of their people, for killing thousands and thousands of people through terrorism. I'm waiting. I guess I'm going to be waiting a while. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will be right back. April 17, 1960. Murph tells us 21-year-old Eddie Cochran killed in an accident while riding in a taxi, which blew a tire and hit a lamppost in Chippenham, Wiltshire, England. Summertime blues. Well, he left his mark. Obviously died far too young. And speaking of, I did not know this, but today is Murph's birthday. So this music selection, it sticks to history, but it's Murph's birthday history. There we go. I'm not going to say how old he is. He's my age. One of the trolls says your poor mother will be wearing out her rosary beads praying for you. I'm sorry. As someone texted in yesterday, he is a man. He's incredibly fallible. And he is wrong. And to that effect, our man Tom Homan has got sent into me a couple of good things I want to hit on from my man Johnny JB. Tom Homan, here's his message to the Pope. He says, I'm a lifelong Catholic. I wish they'd stay out of immigration. They don't know what they're talking about. Because if they wore my shoes, and here's the compassion, that faux compassion, because if they wore my shoes for 40 years and talked to a 9-year-old girl that got raped multiple times, or stood in the back of a tractor trailer with 19 dead aliens at my feet, including a 5-year-old boy that baked to death, if they understood the atrocity that happened on the open border, I think their opinion would change. They don't know what they're talking about. Exactly. Idiots. Fools. Now, Trump, again, his reaction was silly. Because he's frequently silly. That's one of his faults. Or one of his amusements. You could take it either way. Will someone please tell Pope Leo that Iran has killed at least 42,000 innocent, completely unarmed protesters in the last 2 months? By the way, don't forget about the 18-year-old wrestler they hung and the 19-year-old woman they hung just the other day. Trump continues. He says, and that for Iran to have a nuclear bomb is absolutely unacceptable. They intend to use it. It's dumb. It's so aggravatingly dumb. Don't put some pious rap on stupidity. Sorry. Whew. Unreal. Ginny C. says, I'm a proud Catholic. I owe my allegiance to God, not to the man, the Pope. No one can stop me from loving Jesus because of goofs in charge of the church. Yep. And I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm watching Donald Trump maneuver around. We had a piece that I was going to play from the Altus Society. It's that guy I play now and then with that very calm voice. Well, he pointed something out, and we'll play it coming soon. Trump made a maneuver in Indonesia, and JB sends me about the other things, which I'm going to talk about also. He made a maneuver in Indonesia while J.D. Vance was over there. They secured essentially military rights for the United States over the Malaccan Strait. What's the Malaccan Strait, you say? Well, it is the way that China and big parts of Asia receive basically all of their imports and ship out all of their exports. And now we have a military advantage there that we desperately needed. And this is from JB as well, and I'm going to include this. This newest move from Trump, and I'm saying in Indonesia, confirms he has a plan, a timeline, and is thinking many steps ahead. Trump removed Chinese influence over the Panama Canal, took out Maduro, and gained control of Venezuela's oil supply because he knew this standoff with Iran would happen. Anyone claiming Trump doesn't have a plan or is dumb is just objectively wrong. You might not like Trump or agree with his plan, but the fact that he has a plan is incontrovertible. All the pundits and experts, that's in air quotes, were, are, and will continue to be dead wrong about everything. This Indonesian move is huge. I can't even describe it. Huge. We now have surrounded China, our primary enemy on the planet. And that's in terms of nation states. Our next enemy, our biggest enemy, is Islamist fanaticism. And that's within this country as well. Let's look at New York City. What a disgrace. And another thing back to the Pope that JB sent me to remind me. Pope Leo met with Barack Hussein Obama's former political strategist, David Axelrod. I talked about this yesterday. He met with David Axelrod last week. Then a few days later, the Pope bashes Trump. And then 3 cardinals come on 60 Minutes. Please tell me he's not playing politics. Left-wing lunatic politics. That's the Pope. The hell you mean with David Axelrod for? That's insanity. Somebody said the Pope would do better to clear the coffers at the Vatican and the tunnels below filled with expensive things that could go to building housing for the poor and feed and clothe them as Jesus did. It's a double standard, says Ginny C. So it just says to me, now somebody saying Iran never had nukes capable of reaching the U.S. They had, and proved they have missiles, by the way, that could travel 2,500 miles. They proved it. And you put a nuclear device on that on that missile. 2,500 miles. That's most of Europe. Please don't tell me they were not a threat. You're being stupid and blind. Unbelievable. All right. We got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. I won't respond to any more troll nonsense. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by a man who just loves this country and loves our veterans, John Basiliga. It's the weekend. I got to hang out at Atera last night. But there's all kinds of options when you're talking about Basiliga hospitality. 3 amazing bar restaurants. You got to check them out. Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. Not to be confused with High Park. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. And, of course, the aforementioned Atera 519, the Stegmeyer Mansion. And if you're looking, downtown Wilkes-Barre, if you're looking for some different kind of fun this weekend, Sergey's will be hopping. Believe me. Great stuff. Xavier Rigwalski. Nickname was Z. He was 86 when we lost him March 26th. He was from Nanticoke. Born in 1940 in that great town. A graduate of Nanticoke High School, class of 57. Furthered his education, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering from Penn State. He began his working career with General Electric in Philadelphia, later with Singer Link Simulation Systems, Binghamton, and then Wagner Electric Tungsol in Hazleton, before entering employment with the former Nanticoke State General Hospital as institution maintenance supervisor. He was last employed by the Commonwealth of PA, Department of General Services, for 25 years until his retirement. Z served his country and the community. He served in the legendary National Guard with the 109th Field Artillery, headquarters and service battery in Kingston. Member of the Washington Fire Company, the Nanticoke Fire Department, 6 County Firemen's Association, the Ancient Order of Lame Ducks, past president and treasurer, and also a member of the State Firemen's Association of PA. Surviving is his loving and caring companion of nearly 50 years, Gene Nataline. Preceded in death by his brothers and, of course, his parents. Xavier Rigwalski, our great veteran, this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. AccuWeather forecast, brought to you by our great friends at Montage Mountain Resort. They're swinging into spring. Always something happening at Montage Mountain. It ain't just for skiing. Today, warm with periods of clouds and sunshine. A shower cannot be ruled out, they say. High 73. Tonight, mainly clear, low 53. Tomorrow, remaining warm with intervals of clouds and sun, high 78. Snedeker said 75. We'll see. Low of 45. Sunday, on and off, rain and drizzle in the morning. Otherwise, rather cloudy, breezy and cooler, high of 51, low 33. Monday, brisk and cold with periods of clouds and sunshine, 45 degrees. Then the low 26. Man, that's nasty. Well, a little bit of a warm-up Tuesday, partly sunny, 57, low 44. So a good couple of days ahead of us, including today. And then it goes a little bit south, and we hope recovers midweek next week. 67 degrees right now at Montage Mountain, where there's always fun to be had. The Moody Blues. On Murph's birthday in 1965, they moved into the top 10 charts with their first top 10 hit, Go Now. A lot of different kinds of music from the Moody Blues. Bob Cordaro back with you. And by the way, so the transgender man, illegal immigrant that got the free breasts paid for by taxpayers. I mean, this is the level of insanity the Democrat Party's bringing you. Doesn't anybody get it on that side? You trolls that are sending in. Like this one. It says, your God Emperor Donald Trump wears no clothes. You are a complete and total disgrace, Bob. Well, I beg to differ. You're a silly, silly goose. You really, I mean, I can't give you any more credit than that. That's it. Just like, think of a goose running around. That's you. You're that stupid. And why you choose to be that way is beyond me. Now, somebody normal texts in. How can the Pope not understand all Iran wants is a nuclear weapon to blow up the world? They're holding out, hoping America caves in like Obama did. And I want to explain this again. It's very important. And this is the amazing thing. There is probably not a greater intellectual capacity in one place than the Vatican. And he's ignoring all of that. We have there's a great section, this is why they're opening a Muslim prayer room in the Vatican, regarding the history of Islam. So they know it's within their reach. This is the amazing and infuriating thing. It's within their reach, just as with you, silly goose. It's within their reach to know that Iran, the fanaticized Shia cult, intends to bring back the 12th Imam by starting an apocalyptic conflict with a nuclear weapon. It's within their reach to know this, and they don't care. Slick says, Bob, LTS, that comment you just made about running around like a goose, I'm cracking up and can't stop laughing. It's Slick, it's true. This is who these people are. They're running off to No Kings rallies, and they have no idea what they're talking about. It's insanity. And here's their leaders. Thank you to JB for this, to remind me. Chuck Schumer, 2010. Iran is the greatest threat. 2012, thanks Obama for being tough on Iran. 2026, Trump, leave Iran alone. This is the leadership, the leading goose in the flock of silly geese. It's what you are. If you're one of them, you can easily identify yourself. And I'll walk around Lake Scranton. And there's the geese. Now, one thing you got to know about the geese, don't attack them because they've got these claws underneath their webbed feet. They will scratch the snot out of you. So beware of them. But that's all they are, is silly geese, quacking, making noises with no rationale behind them. It's a level of insanity that doesn't make, it's crazy. Now here's somebody that has a tiny sense of humor. Trump's just jealous of the Vatican's vast amount of gold decorations. Yes. Listen, we're not running Trump for saint. But he has had the most coherent, in this term, the most coherent, complete geopolitical strategy that I have seen. And it's not about passivity. It's about taking back what is ours in the free world and for America. And I'll take that every time over a silly goose. We'll be back. So it took a little while, but I was able to find. You go to YouTube to get the live stream. You go to YouTube. You go to Bob Cordaro, WILK News Radio, Bob Cordaro Show, Cordaro, and it's brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply, and they are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania, celebrating 75 years in business, and I'm telling you, you know what that means. They're good, their prices are good, and you'll love dealing with them. You don't last that long. You go to Roach Supply, ROCHE, roachsupply.com today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Go today. George from Pittston. George, how are you, brother?
Fine. Good morning, Bob. Hey, I'm a frequent listener of your program. First time I'm calling in. I just have to make a comment about that Muslim prayer room at the Vatican. Here I'm going to differ from you because what I want to say is I just want to clarify that there are scholars from all over the world that study at the Vatican. Correct. Including many Muslim scholars. And the reason that prayer room was built was just to accommodate some of the Muslim scholars for a place for them to pray. It's a small space just to accommodate some of the Muslim scholars. They're not turning it into a mosque, the Vatican, or anything like that. There's no conspiracy at hand. So I just wanted to clarify that about the Muslim prayer room.
I hope I didn't lead you to believe I thought that this was some conspiracy. I just think it's another brick in the wall of this guy, this Pope, that disturbs me. You can't acquiesce to Islamist fanaticism. And he's done nothing to oppose it. He's done nothing to defend or actually attack the slaughter of Christians around the world. I don't get it. I just don't get this guy. Is it total appeasement to evil? And that's what I'm seeing. And this is just another component of it. And by the way, you could not say a mass in Mecca. That's a guarantee. So this is not a two-sided thing. This is just pacifism in the face of evil, and that's concerning.
Well, that's where Christianity differs from Islam. I mean, there's moderate Islam. I understand that, and I understand what you're saying about Mecca, and you're right about that. But that's where Christianity, he's accommodating to these scholars, showing the openness of Christianity and the loving message of Christianity. So, the whole thing
and George, as a component, as a single facet of his papacy, I would not have a problem with it. So do you see where I'm coming from? This is what disturbs me.
I'm a Catholic, and I'm going to have to differ with you on the Pope's message because I think basically if you just get down to it and you analyze what he's saying, it's just the gospel message of love and tolerance. And I understand where you're coming from because I know you're very devoted to Trump and with Trump having
I'm not devoted to Trump. I'm not devoted to Trump at all. I'm devoted to his policies and common sense actions on behalf of the United States.
However you want to say it to his policies.
No. George, it's a huge difference. I'm not devoted to Trump in any way, shape, or form. I like him. I get a kick out of him. I love his policies. There's a lot about him that's beyond aggravating, but that's a very important distinction. And the other part is, this isn't the Pope against Trump. Trump's silliness is something separate.
It's not the Pope against Trump. It's Trump against the Pope.
No. This started with his attack, the Pope's attack against the Iran war. And
I wouldn't say it's an attack on it. I think he's just trying to clarify it. He's talking about the whole Augustinian notion of the just war theory, and what he's saying is, and he ignored
the Augustinian theory of a just war. He ignored it.
No, he didn't.
Tell me where it is in his statement. I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't
know if you saw those.
And by the way, I didn't see, George, the other part is I didn't see any reference at all to the atrocities and the evil of the Iranian Empire. I didn't see anything about, no balance at all. They wiped out Christianity. They wiped out Christianity in Iran.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there. I understand what you're saying as far as Christianity. But my point is, the Pope was asked about the war, and he just said, in his understanding of it, it was not considered a just war, according to the just war theory. we weren't in any kind of imminent danger.
That's false. And that's
We weren't-
false.
it
That's
wasn't- it's not a
patently.
defensive
No, no, no,
war.
no, no. That's patently false, though. And he's got Muslim scholars coming into, and now they've got their own prayer room at the Vatican. All right, at the Vatican Library at least. So
The
now,
Vatican Library,
so he knows or has access to the information that would say that this fanatical sect of the Shia Muslim religion intends to bring back the 12th Imam by using an atomic or nuclear device to bring about an apocalypse. He's got access to the same information I have and even more, and he ignores it, and that infuriates me. It's ignorance, willful ignorance.
All right. Well, we'll agree to disagree on some points here, Bob. But what I'm saying is I'm staying with the Pope on this one because I think the Pope, like I said, he's preaching the gospel message of love and tolerance and acceptance. And
no, he's preaching what the left
I think some of the
believes
same
the
people that are
message
attacking
is.
the Pope would have had a problem with Jesus back in the time of Rome and would have probably sided with Barabbas when they were calling for the Jesus or Barabbas to be released, because I think people would have not really understood Jesus' message at the time. 2,000 years ago, I think people would have had a problem with Jesus, the same ones that are having a problem with the Pope. That's my only point I wanted to say, and I just wanted to clarify in that prayer room. I've been to Muslim countries. I've seen a different side of Islam. Then there's a side of Islam, like you said. There's radical.
There's a beautiful
radical
side.
Islam.
There's a beautiful side to the religion.
There is, and I've been to a mosque in Bahrain, to the Grand Mosque.
Yeah.
I've been to various Muslim countries in my travels. And I just want to say I've seen a side of Islam that's very accepting of Christianity. And you have some valid points.
By the way, that's the
you have
vast.
some valid
That
points,
is,
and I'm not going to disagree with
and George,
you.
that is the vast majority of Muslims.
I think the vast majority are accepting people.
Yes, without doubt.
Think are very tolerant.
Without doubt. That's without doubt. But we're talking about, and look, it's like the Democrat Party. You're following insanity. Now, what does that make you following insanity? The vast majority of Muslims who are good, 90%, 95%, are following evil. That's where I don't get it. And now we've got a pope who is caving to evil, and that's not his job. This is the new Iran is the new or could have been the new Nazi Germany. And he's not acknowledging it. And by the way, the Vatican didn't acknowledge the Nazis for the evil they were either.
The Vatican was in a very precarious position at the time, and they did everything they could fight behind the scenes to fight. And the Pope did speak out against Nazi Germany. And
a lot of history. There's a lot of history that would disagree with you on
Vatican.
that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history would disagree on that. The other part, look at. Are you a religious leader and you're fearless because you are backed by God, or are you afraid? Afraid of losing your power and perks and whatever? No, you stand up. And they didn't do it, and he's not doing it again. It's happening again with this pope.
Yeah, one other quick point, and I think what prompted this whole thing was when the Pope was asked about Trump's comment about destroying a whole civilization.
Which
that
was
comment
idiotic.
by itself,
Yeah, idiotic.
What does that imply? I don't want to infer anything that I shouldn't from that, but what does it imply?
I
mass
can't defend that
annihilation of a
statement.
culture.
Yeah, I can't defend that statement. I can't.
And what's implied in that is the use of nuclear weapons. I mean, I'm just saying you can't take away from that.
I didn't take that implication at all. But I just felt it was a silly thing. It's another silly thing that he tweeted.
But he's the president of the United States. How are we supposed to take him? I mean, just what do we take as silly and what do we take as true? You know what I mean? That's
I know.
Where people,
it's confusing and maddening.
That's where people get confused. So that's all I had to say, Bob. Anyway,
right.
enjoy your
thank
show.
you. I'm happy you called, George. I'm happy you called.
All right, take care.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right.
Hey, my Picardo Jewelers watch says it's way beyond news time, but that was worth it. 10:04, say the Picardo family, and you could find them, Jefferson Avenue and Spruce Street, catty corner from the Radisson Hotel, the best jewelry store, the best watch store you're going to ever find. We'll take a break and be back. You know it does, baby, and we ain't quitting. Great good morning, everyone. It is 10:12 on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful Friday, April 17, Murph's birthday in the year 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year and celebrate today, thanks to John, like Xavier Rigwalski, Nanticoke, Dorrance Beelan, Waverly, Robert Dawson, Wallopin. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, who we will not allow to be canceled, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. Hey, just a nice positive note. You remember I told you, and you may not remember because I only did it once, about that tattered flag up at the Novembrino complex, Novembrino Park up in the west side, behind the former St. Lucy's Church. They've replaced the flag. So to the people who did it, thank you. And even if it was the mayor, thank you. They got a beautiful new flag flying high at Novembrino Park. And I want to thank my friend Joe. My friend Joe brought it to my attention, sent me a picture of the tattered flag, and the city got it done. Now, in the meantime, they are still in a spectacularly incompetent way trying to pave my street up in the hill section. This is the street that it had to be torn up for good purposes, I'm sure. But they didn't take advantage of the pave cut money from, I believe it was the gas company, maybe the water company, whichever. And I think it's a water company. They didn't take advantage of the pave cuts money that they would be receiving. They painted crosswalks all through the hill section. The mayor painted crosswalks through the hill section, which were then dug up in the construction. And then they graded the street. And then after they graded the street, they tore it up again. Not for utilities, the same people paving the street. They tore it up again and patched it again the second time. And now we're hoping they're going to pave it at some point. Crazy stuff. Yeah, look at. But when they do something right and quickly, you got to give credit. There's a new American flag at Novembrino Park. And that's not thanks to me. It's thanks to my man, Joe. By the way, significant birthdays of today sent to me by my friend Mark the Shark in Hazleton. J.P. Morgan. Now, he wasn't the richest guy in the world, but he controlled the most money. He essentially, and we could go through these stories all the time, but he essentially was the central bank of his day. He'd sit people down and bang their heads together, and they'd solve problems. J.P. Morgan. Now, it didn't sound like it was a lot of money for its day, but he was worth only about $90 million. And that was a pittance compared to the Rockefellers and other titans of the day. So money wasn't his object, fascinatingly. Thornton Wilder, birthday today. Died in 1975, Pulitzer Prize-winning author of Our Town. And then Harry Reasoner, some of you may remember him. He died in 1991. Early co-anchor of 60 Minutes. Always reminding my Uncle Phil Cordaro from up in Honesdale. But a major figure in broadcast journalism. So thank you, Mark the Shark, for those birthday points. Hey, reminding you, live stream, powered by Roach Supply. You go to YouTube, just put WILKnewsradio.com or WILK News Radio, and then Bob Cordaro, and you can see my smiling, scowling, screaming face. And it's another way to enjoy the program. But brought to you by Roach Supply. 75 years in business. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. ROCHE, roachsupply.com. We love them. And you're not in business 75 years if you're not honest, if you're not good, and I mean really good at what you do. And they're into the fourth generation being great. And 90-some-odd year Ron Roach, my old friend, my old neighbor, is still shepherding all of that. And, of course, this hour brought to you by Tina Morocco. She's at Sotheby's International in Naples, Florida, Sotheby's International Realty. And you could reach her through that website, Sotheby's International, or Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. Delightful person, knows her stuff. You hear her on the show. She's great. Let's go. Let's take a call. We got Joe from Berwick. Hey, Joe, how are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, Bob. Thank you. Hey, there's just something I wanted to comment on because I hadn't really heard it brought up. And, you know, they're saying about, oh, this Pope's so compassionate because he's so concerned about refugees and whatnot. Well, I really see a lot of cynicism here with him and some of these UN people, and here's why. And brown and black-skinned people are created in the image of God. They are no different than Europeans. They are capable of civilization and stable government the same as anybody else. And the reason I say see so much cynicism in this, it takes a lot more work and it's a lot harder to sell people on the idea of stable and functioning society than it is the chaos of refugee. We're just, you know, we don't expect their governments to straighten up and do right, and we just accept the fact that millions of people across the globe live in poverty and sheer terror. And let's be clear here. Yes, I know there are young men who come from some of these societies who are ne'er-do-wells, and that, but there are also women and children caught up in this through no fault of their own. And what I'm saying is, it would take a lot more thought and work and action to advocate for and put in place stable societies over this refugee problem that we're seeing. And that's why I don't see compassion. I see cynicism here, and I see actually evil in the works.
I can't disagree with you. I can't. Look at, we know there's the thing about the left, and this Pope is amongst them. That's the thing about globalists. They want control, but everything they pursue and push has failed already to great human misery, and they just continue anyway. It's insane. And that's what it is. It's insane.
I heard you talking to one of your callers earlier, and he seemed nice enough, but he didn't seem to get it. It's easier to control people in chaos than it is through, stability, because stability comes through hard work, and that's where it's not a conspiracy. You can just see it.
Well, these are, the Pope and his advisors at the Vatican are not foolish people. So you can only look at when they're pursuing something without an even hand. Then you got to assume, well, this is not religious based, number one. And when they're pushing something and some kind of activity, social or political, without an even hand and without acknowledging even the foolishness of the plan, you got to say there's something more to it. Joe, thank you, my man. Let's take our break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, will return. On Murph's 8th birthday, the band played their first concert, Murph tells us, without Bob Dylan at the Winterland Auditorium, San Francisco, California, before it turned into a spit hole. The night they drove Old Dixie down, Murph chose. My man Mark Mayer texted in. This is a little longer, but it goes to the subjects we're talking about here. The Pope held a secret meeting with David Axelrod, Barack Obama's chief hatchet man and one of the most influential political operatives in Democrat machine. A non-Catholic Axelrod with no prior history of engagement with the papacy, whose career has been built on shaping narratives for the American left. And then almost immediately, the Pope began publicly criticizing the Trump administration. Within days, several U.S. cardinals appeared in major media echoing similar themes. A private sit-down with a top Democrat thug, followed by coordinated criticism of Trump, while the Vatican stays muted on the persecution of Christians and internal doctrinal crackdowns, signals a church drifting from moral authority into political alignment. And now we're told Trump is the great threat to human dignity. At the same time, Christians are facing sustained and deadly persecution across regions including Nigeria, Sahel, India, Syria, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Churches attacked, clergy kidnapped, believers killed. The Vatican's response has largely been generalized appeals for dialogue with little specificity or moral clarity about the perpetrators. Yeah, exactly, Mark Mayer. Exactly. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And it's beyond disturbing. Why would you do this? Embarrass yourself and disgrace yourself because you obviously don't know what you're talking about. You're obviously wrong. And you obviously have no balance. If you're going to criticize the U.S. method of preventing the apocalypse under Trump, the apocalypse that the Shia clerics who ran Iran were hell-bent, and I say that for a reason, hell-bent on bringing about. If you're going to ignore that and their slaughter of their own people, abuse of their own people, corruption at every level, then there's something wrong with you, period. Let's go to Jim from Hazleton. Hey, Jim.
How's it going today, my buddy?
Well, I'm in a lather. I'm in
high
dudgeon.
That's why I figured I'd give you a call and get you a good laugh. So keep it in.
Well, Jim,
we're
getting like those guys that you just say a number and you know what I mean. They just say, well,
right.
let's number the jokes, and we just laugh.
Oh,
okay.
yesterday I heard myself on one of your promos or whatever for your show. It was one of our conversations on Nancy's show yesterday. So I kind of cracking up with that. That was kind of fun to hear my voice over there. But back to what I was going to say, give you a good laugh. So my first question to George would be, what flavor Kool-Aid is he drinking?
Well, he was bad. I give George credit. He made good points. There's points to be made here. I don't have a problem with a pope, a religious leader, decrying violence and war. But let's talk about some balance here. And then he made the outrageous, incorrect, biblically and otherwise, statement, God doesn't answer prayers of those who wage war? That's insanity. Who, David?
Well,
is he talking about David in the Bible? Is he talking about Gideon? Who's he talking? He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, the problem with the Pope, first of all, he's a White Sox fan, a left-wing lunatic White Sox fan from the south side of Chicago. Doesn't have a clue as what you would think. Being from Chicago with the 100 murders a weekend, he would have something to say. You would think about October 7th, he would have something to say. He would have something to say to all the people that in the Soviet, in Russia and Ukraine that are Catholics. that are getting killed over there with the war going on there. Got nothing to say there.
Nothing.
But he's got something to say about Trump. And the problem with the papacy is it's getting more and more political. Every pope is getting more political than the one before that, and they're taking the papacy and the Catholic Church way off course.
We've gone from bad to what appears at this point to be worse.
I was born and raised a Catholic. I was an altar boy, and the Catholic Church that I was raised on, it wasn't political. They didn't go in a direction. The Pope is the vicar of Christ, which is supposed to steer the Catholic Church into the future, not get involved in politics because they don't like who's the president of the United States this time. And where was the Pope last time with Joe Biden, who's allegedly a Catholic, who believes in abortion? I'm not sure what Catholic church in Scranton he went to, but the Catholic church that I went to, they were not really about abortion and all of that. But I'm not sure. I mean,
65 million Americans later, too. It's not a small issue. Yeah. Jim, we got to go, my man, but pleasure, always. Time to hear from our great sponsors. We'll come back with a Veterans Tribute to an old friend of mine. And then we got the weather. And, of course, you at 570-883-0098 to call or to text. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day, as with every day, brought to you by a man of faith, a true patriot, John Basiliga. Today, because it's Friday, we feature the Basiliga Hospitality Group. That includes 3 amazing bar restaurants that you've just got to try. You'll be hooked. Queen City Tavern up in Oliphant. The Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Trips Park section of West Scranton. And the Old Brook Inn on 307 Springbrook Township. If you're in the mood for fine dining, as I often am, a Terra 519. I was there last night. I'll be there this weekend again. Just a great place to hang out, but a top shelf restaurant. My son went in for the first time last night. His jaw dropped. The Stegmeyer Mansion, an old school, old world take on fine dining and great drinks. And Sergei's the nightclub. You got to stop by. I was commenting to my son. I said, you might be too old. He's 32. You might be too old to go, but you got to check it out. Dorrance Beelan. He passed away at age 87 on March 30th. He was from Waverly. Born in Scranton, graduate of the Deerfield Academy, Yale University, and the University of Pittsburgh School of Law. He was an Eagle Scout, showing his leadership from an early age. He then served as an artillery officer in the U.S. Marine Corps, 1960 to 1963. He served as a trial attorney in the Office of Chief Counsel of the Internal Revenue Service in Washington, 67 to 71. He was a partner at the law firm of Oliver, Price, and Rhodes for 40 years. Accredited estate planner. He served on the boards of numerous nonprofit organizations, particularly those focused on environmental stewardship. He served on many boards of local and regional nonprofits, Geisinger Health System Foundation Board, more than 30 years, Northeastern Bank for 16 years, PNC Bank for 13, governor and chairman of the board of the Great Scranton Area Community Foundation. Also involved with the Waverly Community House Board, Johnson College, Scranton Public Library, Haddon Craftsman, Penn Millers Mutual Holding Company. Dorrance was a kind person and a true gentleman. Loved spending time with family, traveling with his wife, Susan. The family wants to express their sincere gratitude to Gretchen Mackey and her team of caregivers. And survived by his wife for 60 years, another great human being, Susan Beelan, as well as 3 sons, 6 grandchildren. A guy who I always looked up to, Dorrance Beelan, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang up at Montage Mountain Resort. Well, what do they say about the weather? Today, warm with periods of clouds and sunshine. A shower cannot be ruled out, high 73. Tonight, mainly clear, 53. Tomorrow, it'll remain warm with intervals of cloud and sun, high 78, but it'll get down to 45. Sunday's on and off rain and drizzle in the morning, otherwise rather cloudy, breezy, and cooler. 51 degrees, the low of 33. Monday, brisk and cold with periods of clouds and sunshine, 45 degrees, low 26. Back to winter. Tuesday, though, gets better. Partly sunny, high 57, low 44 degrees. And that's your weather, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resort, who tell you that it's 69 degrees right now on the mountain. Paul McCartney, another day. Murph points out that in April 17, 1971, all 4 ex-Beatles had solo hits on the single charts as Murph turned 10. Paul McCartney's the first. We'll play Lennon, Harrison, and Starr as we continue the program. Mother Teresa, I don't want to forget this. Saint Teresa for April 17th. She says, try not to judge people. If you judge others, then you are not loving them. You cannot judge and love at the same time. Instead, try to help them by seeing their needs and acting to meet them. It isn't what anyone may or may not have done, but what you have done that matters in God's eyes. The amazing, great St. Teresa, Mother Teresa. Thank you, Mary Regina. Hey, let's go to Joe from Bear Creek. Joe, how are you?
Oh, I hope I'm okay. Hey, how you doing? Listen,
I'm doing great.
I haven't talked to you in a while. The thing of it is the Roman soldiers had bishops walking around and riding with them, and that was years ago. And the Roman soldiers helped put Jesus on the cross. So politics and people have been involved for many, many years, and it's not over yet. Now, this Pope should be worrying about how many churches are closing in the Wyoming Valley and give or take more.
He's got bigger issues, is right.
He's got bigger issues to deal with than a guy that dressed up and, tried to show a healing power of Jesus. But that might have been somewhat wrong, but right.
Well, Trump gets silly, Joe. We know that, we want common sense policies executed brilliantly, and that's what we are getting. That's what I want out of a president. That's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, people don't realize again. The Republicans are being swayed by the Democrats, and that's what happens with people when they start believing the wrong theory, the wrong problems of things that he's trying to do right. More than some of the presidents that were before him did the same thing he did, and some of it was kind of goofy. And Hillary Clinton wanted to do what he done here, and somebody had to do it like him. Like
he doesn't. That's the among the great things that Donald Trump has, and I am not a Trump devotee or anything. When he's good, when he's dumb, he's dumb. But among the great things that he has done is he does not sidestep any problem or issue. He takes them all on, and regardless of fear, without fear or favor, and it's been amazing. It really has been.
Well, he's a man of building. His father built New York years ago. He was a part of that when he was young, and he knows the politics of politics. Besides that, he had to deal with. Because they had, the same thing was going on with these places that they want to build these centers for, I don't even know what the heck they call it.
And the data centers,
Data.
Well, I mean, I'm happy you mentioned it. We have to go to a break. The positioning of the people who are opposing the data centers as though they are evil in and of themselves. They may not be the best use of land, job-wise and otherwise, but if they provide their own energy and if they provide water treatment, I don't have a problem with them. And they're trying to make them into something evil here, and I'm not getting what the issue is. How are they more evil or wrong than any other kind of development? So as long as but it's critical that they provide their own power and their own water treatment. If they do that, well, then it's their right to build them.
Yep. I think they should start looking up in the mountains.
Well,
locally.
well, they even talked about that. Our news just covered that, building some power plants on the mountains
Right.
surrounding the Lackawanna County anyway. Hey, Joe, we got to go, but always a
Okay,
pleasure,
all right,
my
thank
friend.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take this break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, the eponymous program. It'll roll on after these great messages. John Lennon. Murph says on his 10th birthday, he was somewhere on the charts with Power to the People, that song. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. Some great texts I want to get to. But one thing that I came across, and I tell you how incompetent and awful a mayor we have in Scranton, Paige Cognetti. Well, I tell you then it gets worse. She's a left-wing lunatic. Well, let me confirm that for you. It's not just me saying it. The Soros family has contributed the maximum amount. The Soros family. Everything evil in this country. The leading leftists who are trying to destroy the United States. They've given her max contributions. Just absorb that for a minute. Oh, and let me give you one further fun fact. The people who ran Mamdani's campaign, that's the New York City communist mayor who's destroying that amazing place. They are running her campaign. Please know this. It's insanity. Hey, so we think about something disgraceful. Let's go to my cousin, as we say in Dunmore, Isabella Cordaro, and she's got something going on at the Great Lace Village tomorrow. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Tell me what's happening at Lace Village this weekend.
Yeah, we have our second annual spring shopping market, which it's, of course, bigger and better than last year. And it's just a really exciting time. We have 60 vendors this year, which we used to have about 40 to 50, and just some really amazing businesses that are trying to get their name out in the greater Scranton area, and we're always happy to support them.
And amazing apartments and townhouses over there, too. I mean, my son was looking at one. It's unbelievable. Really gorgeous.
They really are. Yes. All of our townhomes are full, and our original apartment building is completely full, but we actually are in the middle of construction for another apartment building, which people are more than welcome to check out. It looks really beautiful. We have amazing Pella windows, and Eastern Roofing did a great job on the exteriors. Like, it's so amazing. So I'd love for people to check that out while they're there this weekend for the event.
And by the way, we were talking yesterday with John Basiliga about that great project with the Scranton Center that he's going to develop for Lackawanna College, and your dad is also the chairman of the board of Lackawanna College. So you guys work together all the time. I love it.
Yes, yeah, that was a great show, and it was great to hear John, just really uplift the city like he always does. So
always does, and so does Lace Village. So tell us about the event, quick. Who, what, when, where, and why tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow from 11 to 4, right at Lace, is the spring shopping market. So a little bit of everything for every taste, all sorts of springy events, very on theme. The weather's supposed to be nice. So from 11 to 4, it will be flooded with lots to do for people in the Scranton area. So
and lets everybody know it's not just a place to live; it's a place to hang out wherever you live.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Neat.
Yes, I agree.
Well, thanks, Isabella. Always great to hear from you.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thanks. Have a great weekend. And I'm looking forward to the event tomorrow.
Me too.
All
Thanks.
right. Hey, my Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me something every minute, but it now tells me that it's time for the news as we approach 11 o'clock. So let's do the news. We will come back after that. And I just want to remind you, it is not only an amazing jewelry store, Bacardo's, and another family business, just like the Roach Supply Gang, generations of excellence and just doing the right thing for their customers. But they've got Raymond Weil, Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, Tory Burch, Victorinox, Bulova, G-Shock, and more, including my own Bacardo's watch. It says Bacardo's right on the watch. And it tells me it's 11 o'clock and time for the news. We'll be back. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. It is 11:07 a.m. on my Bacardo Jewelers watch this beautiful Friday, April 17, year of our Lord 20 and 26 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day, as is every day, to fight for America, defend our values and our honor. And with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year but celebrate today thanks to John, like Xavier Rigwalski of Nanticoke, Dorrance Beelan of Waverly, and Robert Dawson of Wapwallopin. So with history, our great founding fathers, who we will not allow to be canceled, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that we will provide, because of our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense, a sanctuary of sanity for all of you who hearken here. Something I haven't been able to touch on because we easy to get onto subjects and all this. There's 11 scientific researchers and a general, all with top security clearance. They're dying. We don't know why. They were killed or died. And then some have disappeared without a trace. And they asked Donald Trump about it yesterday. He said, we just had a meeting on that. This is crazy. And they're trying to get to the bottom of it. Is it a foreign power? Now, some of them were working in the UFO space. And so I think the theories are, understandably, by the way, the theories are really going like, could it be aliens? Not illegal aliens, aliens. Taking these people out because they've discovered something they shouldn't have, or they know things they shouldn't. Or is it a foreign power? It's a scary, it's just eerie. And it's good to know that the administration is on top of it. But nobody knows. It's a confusion. So we'll find out in any event. It's just something I needed to bring up because it's important. Some text that I didn't get to. Bob, just imagine if the world put the same effort into this homeless people as they do into illegal migration. There would be no homeless. Yep. But see, the nonprofits and the NGOs and the churches get paid huge money for illegal immigration. They get paid huge amounts of money. And they're very angry that it got cut off by Donald Trump closing the border. Somebody else got a kick out of the silly geese comment, and that's what they are. That's who the leftists and Democrat devotees are, just silly, honking geese running around with no more intelligence or direction than a goose. And they said, I'm married to one of these silly geese. Description is to a T. And another, I didn't get to this earlier, and it's another important point, just like the scientists missing. Bob, you're missing the big news of the day. I'm not, because I'm watching it and following it. But the Iranians announced that the Strait of Hormuz is open. All right, so our blockade has worked amazingly quickly. And crude oil is down over $9 a barrel to the low 80s. And $3 gas should be back soon. I hope so. And man, for what a great cause. By the way, somebody sent me, I'm not even going to play it because it actually makes me vomit in my mouth. Stupid, speaking of silly geese, Kamala Harris posing in front of a gas station. Now, I tell you what you have to be a leftist. To be a Democrat today, you've got to be completely devoid of self-awareness. Now, the Biden administration, do they think we're stupid? Yes, they do. And they want to give fodder to people who are being stupid, silly geese so that they can go and whack and run around and follow this leadership that is not leadership. It's just another goose. She's complaining about gas prices when her administration, not to eliminate an international threat and people who want to bring out the apocalypse, just for their climate insanity, they drove gas prices higher than they are now. And she's talking about gas prices. How stupid does she think we are? She thinks we're as stupid as her. It's insanity. But yeah, crude oil futures. Now remember, these are crude oil futures. There is a difference. These are what people are betting oil prices will be within the next 3 months, not what they actually are. All those things get determined by the marketplace after the fact. So it's just when you see what they're posting, it's generally, not always, but generally oil future prices. That's what companies use, and oil companies and all of that, big energy users, they use to hedge future prices. So $3 gas may be coming back, but these are only the futures. And they could jump $20 in a day. So I know it's good news. Another, hey, Bob, dating back to World War II with the Vatican helping the Nazis, there's been a strong but quiet move of anti-Semitism. I'm going to clarify that. It's anti-Jewish. It's an important distinction. Arabs are Semites also. I revere the language. Anyway, they continue among the leaders of the church. Another, Bob, the Pope has to stay out of the United States government affairs. This United States Pope was all political because he's from the United States, and it handcuffs President Trump on tariffs and other foreign aid. If the Pope was from France, he could impose tariffs and sanctions on France for meddling in United States foreign policy. And he is. And I don't get it. And he's provably, demonstrably wrong. That's what makes it worse. And then he's consulting with Obama's hack, David Axelrod. It really drives you towards a lot of conclusions. I'm not making them yet. Another listener, LTS Bob, the Pope doesn't realize that if Sharia law, evil radicals under Sharia law, evil radicals, they wouldn't hesitate to do the same thing to him as other Christians. What's the ambition besides the political gain or money? To promote an evil that has one that has a pope and took the oath to defend against. And by the way, I'm in Africa. Here's the Pope. I'm in Africa, where the slaughter of Christians is going, not a peep from this person about it. Please don't tell me he's good at his job. Please don't tell me he's not a left-wing loon. To not bring up the savagery and the slaughter of Christians in Africa when you're in Africa is inexcusable, and I don't excuse them. Period. And my friend Mr. Paul always says, I hate punctuation, period. Well, let's go to somebody, again, when I'm something aggravating, I try to go to something good, and that would be our friend Leanne McDermott from the Republican Party of Luzerne County. Leanne, how are you?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm in high dudgeon today, but I'm good.
Well, I wanted to call to announce that we finally have an office, and we've been working on it since January, painting, new carpeting, getting furniture in. And number one, it's tomorrow, 12 to 4. It's an open house, but we're going to have a ribbon cutting at 1 o'clock. And Dan Muser is going to be here for that because thanks to Congressman Dan Muser, we have the office. He donated the money for us to be able to get this office.
And where's the location?
1950 Wyoming Ave, Exeter. So it's close to Sabatini's. It's across the street, right next to Dollar General. We're going to have tents out front. You can't miss it. We have Thunder and Liberty, Dwayne McDavitt, Turning Point, Republican Women of Luzerne County, Americans for Prosperity, Early Vote Action. So we have everybody that's going to be here.
Nice.
This is our way of showing that we are united. We're coming together to help our Republican candidates win this November.
And I mean, based on the big money from left-wing lunatics that's coming into even the council races in Luzerne County, it's frightening. And now I just pointed out that the Soros family has given the max to members of the Soros family have given the max to our lunatic mayor, Paige Cognetti, who trying to pretend she's a moderate and is a left-wing lunatic. And it's like, there's real dangerous money coming into Northeast Pennsylvania.
I know. It's terrible. And where are our Republican donors that we can, get that money? I hope that we have them out there. I know, Rob Bresnahan's getting a lot of money. Dan Muser's raising a lot of money to help Rob Bresnahan win. And, we have an open seat right now in the State House, the 121st. Eddie Dave-Pashinsky resigned, and that's an open seat for the Republicans to take over. We have Mike Harristock running for that, the 121st, and he's actually having a fundraiser tonight at the Wilkes-Barre Township Fire Hall from 5:30 to 7:30. He's a great person, a great candidate, and we need to get him out there to meet as many people as possible.
Well, you tell him to call in. You tell him to call in anytime he'd like.
I will. I will definitely. But again, open seat.
Eddie Day did an awful job, and he teamed up with the left-wing loons consistently.
And we also have, hopefully, John Lombardo will be able to win and beat Jim Haddock this year. That could be another Republican seat. So those are two highly contested seats right now for the state house.
So there's a lot at stake. So opening this headquarters tomorrow is a big deal. Tell us again.
Yes, it is.
Give us the who, what, when, where, and why.
Okay. Again, it's 1950 Wyoming Ave, Exeter, across from Sabatini's, and it's open house 12 to 4, ribbon cutting at 1 o'clock.
And you can get an amazing beer right across the street.
Absolutely. And we'll have some light
pizza.
Refreshments.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, you could have your light refreshments at the headquarters and go to Sabatini's for the heavy ones.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Leanne. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for letting us share the information with the audience.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
All right, Leanne. We'll talk often, I hope.
I do hope so, too. Thank you.
All right. Hey, we've got to take a break and hear from our great sponsors, and then we'll come back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. I was at that World's Fair as a young kid. I remember I had a sore throat or something. We still went with the Dorenzos. And I was in one of those cars at the Ford exhibit at the New York World's Fair. It might have been 65 we went, but 64 was the year it opened, and it was like Disney World. It really was. And now that I hear the Disney influence was part of that, it makes all the sense in the world. Oh, my gosh. I mean, my father let me sit at the wheel of the car, and you could pretend you were turning the wheel, but it was just a ride. Unbelievable. Yeah, man, what memories. Amazing. And speaking of Murph's 10th birthday, George Harrison, my sweet lord, on the charts. Yeah, this Soros thing with Paige Cognetti is really, you got to be aware of it. I was thinking about this, and this is important, and it is actually central to the point of this program, okay? You always ask, well, why would someone, the Democrat Party, these are not dumb people, why would they support insanity? And openly so. Like, okay, no voter ID. Cashless bail. Do not deport people, including criminal illegal aliens. Transgender insanity, including mutilation of young children, both surgically and pharmacologically. Okay? All of these things, open border, all of these things are evil. They're not just bad policy, they're evil. Why would you support these things? Okay? And it goes back to money. The billionaires like the Soroses of the world who support Paige Cognetti, Mamdani, the rest, all of the left-wing loons, all the insane policies. That's the font of money the Democrats, the silly geese, the Chuck Schumers of the world, the Paige Cognettis of the world are all barking for. Okay? They're all barking for it. And there's another layer. Government bureaucracy and bureaucrats, but it goes further. The hundreds of billions of dollars, in the case of the federal government, $1 trillion a year that goes to NGOs and nonprofits to administer, and I've got air quotes, which you can see if you're watching on the Roach Supply live stream, goes to nonprofits and NGOs to manage programs and administer programs. It's all stolen money. So there's trillions at stake and multi-billionaires in the lead supporting idiocy and evil. It's that simple. When you say, well, why would they? No, they don't really. No, they do. And that's why. Follow the money. It's that simple. We just had another left-wing lunatic elected last night in a blowout. What is the matter with people? The people are scary. Another left-wing lunatic winning a congressional race in New Jersey. Now, she replaces the governor for her seat, Cheryl. But she's I'm telling you, if she was admitted to Clark Summit State Hospital, she would not get out. I want you to check her out. It's really something. And so don't think we can stay home and not vote. Don't think it for a second. You normal people, that's the majority of this audience, vast majority. have to get out and vote. And sadly, I don't see a Democrat you could vote for. And I mean that. It's sad. Because they all cave. Look at Tom Welby in Lackawanna County. Normal guy, great guy, good for the community. And he caves to the lunatic left and sicko Bill Gaughan, the boy king. And passes legislation, by the way, that's symbolic only. Although they could screw ICE at the jail. That's the scary part for me. But this is what happens. This is who they are, and they eventually cave because it's like a constant pounding of waves by the lunatic left. Those who hate America and those who are benefiting from government. And in the trillions. And that's the enemy within. It's scary. Guys, start thinking about voting. You got to remember that the billionaire class behind the Democrat Party on these 80-20 issue wants to destroy America. That's their goal. The Soros family, who's giving money, the max to Paige Cognetti, wants to destroy America. They want her to do it for them. Now, you add in Democrat elected official and the trillions of dollars, state, local, federal, that go to nonprofits, NGOs, consultants, all that, who make money off government for no useful purpose. And you have a very powerful coalition opposing the American people, the American dream, the American idea. They combine with the media and academia to lie. But their ultimate end is the destruction of this country that they hate. Remember that. It's that straightforward. It's not complicated. How does evil win? When good men and women do nothing. We'll be back with someone who did something for all of us in our Veterans Tribute. our Veterans Tribute, brought to you, as always, by our man John Basiliga. And it's Friday, so that means Basiliga hospitality. You got to start thinking about it. And I had that hospitality last night at Atera. Just one of the most gorgeous restaurants, and they're actually extending the sidewalks. So they might have some outdoor as we head into the summer. Temporary construction for a permanent improvement. Atera 519. Stegmeyer Mansion, the tops in fine dining in Northeast Pennsylvania, with an old world twist in the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. Bar restaurants, if you're thinking casual, Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Trips Park section of West Scranton, not to be confused with High Park. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant, awesome. And of course, Sergei's the nightclub, full swing tonight. If you're in for a great time, bottle service, the whole package. It's great. Robert Dawson. He was 83 when we lost him April 2nd. Known as a hard worker, enjoyed hunting, loved animals. He was from Wapwallopin. Born in Berwick, he attended Nescopec High School and graduated in 1964 and entered the U.S. Army, where he served us till 1966 during the Vietnam War. Bob was employed at Heinz Pet Products for many years. After retirement, he worked for Cunningham Township and assisted at Heller Funeral Home in Nescopec. He worked hard to provide for his family, even while holding full-time employment. He also had his own combine and did custom combine work for many farms in the area. He also picked apples for Heller's Orchard. He was a dealer for Seedway. Member of St. John's United Church of Christ in Wapwallopin. He loved animals and liked spending time on the family farm. He'll be greatly missed by his beloved wife, Diane, with whom he celebrated 54 years of marriage in February. He also leaves behind a daughter, a son, 7 cherished grandchildren, a brother and a sister from that 11-child family. Robert Dawson. Man, these people are amazing. Brought to you by John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resort. Guys, there's always something happening there. It's not just skiing, and it's not just water park. It's really amazing. You got to get up there. Today, warm with periods of clouds and sunshine. A shower cannot be ruled out. High is 73. 71 at Montage Mountain as I speak. Tonight, mainly clear, low 53. Tomorrow, remaining warm with intervals of clouds and sun. High 78, low 45. Sunday, on and off rain and drizzle in the morning. Otherwise, rather cloudy, breezy, and cooler. It's only going to get to the low 50s. And then the low will be 33. Monday, you're going to feel like you're back in March. Brisk and cold with periods of clouds and sunshine, high 45, low 26. Tuesday, partly sunny, high 57, low 44. And I told you, Tina Morocco from Sotheby's Real Estate in Southwest, in Naples, Florida. She is your guide to Florida real estate specifically, and she specializes in Southwest Florida. But she brought in this gorgeous weather when she came to town, and now that she's going back, everything's going backwards for us. You can check her out at Sotheby's International Naples or Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. And another mention, I did it, I was having a hard time getting on WILK newsradio.com deal to find the live streaming. And all that's brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. No, I just go to YouTube now. WILK News Radio. And you probably only have to put WILK, but WILK News Radio, the Bob Cordaro, just Bob Cordaro, and it popped up, and that's so we're running live on, which is an improvement, running live on YouTube. But Road Supply, bringing you all this, and they are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania for 75 years. You'll hear their commercial. They're not cocky. They say they're the premier for 73 years because they were just starting the first 2 years. But just like the Picardo gang, multi-generational family business at a still performing at the highest level. And you don't do the Picardo's 3-generation thing. You don't do the Roach Supply 4 generations thing unless you are really, really good and great to deal with and all of that. Roach Supply. You go to ROCHE, roachsupply.com. And by the way, they also own Chapman Supply in Clark Summit. So you got to, if that's your flavor, you go there too. Honesdale or Clark Summit. Let's go to Bill from Pittston. How are you, Bill? Thanks for your patience.
Oh, no problem. Quick points. Disney did use the World's Fair in '64 to promote his automatics, like Mr. Lincoln at the President's Hall of Presidents. Lincoln was taking epileptic seizures. They were panicked that it wouldn't come up, but it did. Small World, and then the dinosaurs, which he took to Disneyland. So he made that. The other point is that in the defense of the Catholic Church, they were not so much there was not much anti-Semitism as people believe, and actually the Pope Pius XII was highly attacked and unfairly. If you really look at it, he couldn't be more vocal for fear of having thousands, hundreds of thousands of people slaughtered, but he did a lot more than people know, and he's taken a punishment that's unfair. Now in regards to Pope Leo the Marxist, I was watching him on he was talking about the inequities between the wealthier nations today, talking socialism and his
yeah, again,
he
just won't stop. He's going to get worse.
Oh yeah, he's. But you were so spot on when you were talking about this. I used to try to figure out how do these Democrats get elected. You're right. It's a well-organized plot between the communists, the Muslims, and these multi-billionaires. It's coordinated. The Chinese want to come in here and legally change our country by having kids born here. You hit the nail on the head. That finally was that piece in the puzzle that made me understand why people are so stupid and they vote for Democrats. Money. You're 100% right.
And it's not just the billionaires' money financing the lunacy. It's important to remember that $1 trillion just by the federal government, never mind state and local and all of those entities like New York City spending $20 and $30 billion on nonprofits to implement programs. Trillions a year spent on the enemies of this country. It's frightening.
Yeah, that's the most insidious act that's taking place. That we're like Khrushchev. What did he say? That we'd hang ourselves with our own rope.
Yeah,
and that's what's happening there. But then my original point was Trump's a loser. Trump doesn't keep his word. We got the stock market going almost near 50,000. Oil is down to 81, bucks a barrel, and things are falling into place. But of course, he's stupid. And you got people like, who's that governor from Kentucky, Andy Beshear?
saying that Trump saw his statement.
Bomb?
I mean, it's like, that's why I'm saying you can't trust Democrat elected officials because sooner or later they're going to cave to lunacy. It's crazy. He's turned into a full-blown lunatic. He's saying that Trump wants to use, just for people, Andy Beshear wants to run for Democrat presidential nomination. He's the governor of Kentucky. He stated on his own podcast that Trump he's fearful Trump will want to use nuclear weapons so that he is the most famous person on the planet. Well, number one, he already is stupid. But the second part, it's insanity. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's so incredulous, that these guys, you'd think they have some intelligence. they either sold their soul or they never had one to begin with.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, and history's going to bear this out, how great Trump was and stood the course. Of course, now we're not going to hear it, but maybe years now when they really look back in retrospect and see the greatness.
But
that he's
remember,
do.
it depends who writes the history. If we don't get
That's
out there
true.
and vote against these lunatics like Paige Cognetti, then we won't be writing the history. Normal people won't be writing it. They will. Thank you, Bill. Let's go to Larry from Scranton. Larry, how are you?
Good, Bob. How you doing?
Great.
I remember going to the World's Fair as a young guy.
Yeah.
With my mother, but we remember going on the Ford ride and everything like that. It was pretty spectacular.
Yes.
But the highlight of the trip was to see the Pieta, Michelangelo's Pieta.
I see that, and you know it's sad. I don't remember that part of it.
It was so
Wow.
unbelievably beautiful.
Where
that
was
we
it,
had-
if you could remember?
Just as a kid, you got on a ride. It was like theater seats, and it went in slow, and you passed by it. You know
I'm
what I mean?
sure we did it. I don't know why I don't remember that.
It was so unbelievable that we went around again.
Mm.
You know, that was the highlight of the trip.
The
It was
Pieta.
something to see. It was unbelievable.
Now, obviously, is the actual Pieta is in the Vatican,
Yeah, this was
in
the
St.
actual.
Peter's, and this
was
it.
the actual Pieta. Yes,
Oh, my
they brought it
gosh.
over. They brought it over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't that World's Fair? It's the memories of a young, small kid, 3 or 4 years old, but they're very distinct memories. I just remember the big dinosaur. Remember the big Tyrannosaurus Rex life size?
Yeah.
Oh, it was truly a wonder. It was.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing.
Well, that's neat
was
that you
amazing.
were there too. What time of year did you go?
That was 64, probably in the early summer.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think I went.
yeah.
I think I went in 65, but it could have been 64. I just don't. It's hard
Well,
to distinguish.
I remember the Mustang was out. The
Yeah.
Mustang was there. You know.
Riding in those cars, it was the thrill of a lifetime.
Oh,
even as
the-
I look back on it.
The wait in line, but it was well worth it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Oh, I'm happy you told me about that. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
Pieta. I might have to Google the 64 World's Fair.
Oh,
and look that up.
it was just amazingly beautiful.
Hmm.
You know, it's incredible.
Oh man, thank you.
Well, it's good talking to you, Bob.
All right, my man. Larry, appreciate it. Hey, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. Well, we're going to finish with Three Dog Night, Joy to the World. But that's Ringo Starr. Don't come easy. This date, Murph's 10th birthday, he tells us that there were 4 ex-Beatles with solo hits on the single charts, and it Don't Come Easy by Ringo, one of them. We'll finish with Three Dog Night, who had the #1 hit with Joy to the World in 1971. Hey, let's go just 30 seconds of the phone. My man Donald in Pittston. Hey, Donald.
Here, I have to get this in real quick. I was right. Big elections we forgot to talk about in West Miami and Rio Ranch. MAGA overperformed. Here's the numbers real quick. 71-29 in West Wyoming, the commissioner's race and mayor. Rio Ranch crushed it. Trump only won there for 51-49. They won 63-37. Catholic Latinos came out in droves. They don't want open borders. These people, they don't want the mutilation of children and boys and girls' locker rooms. Catholic Latinos, they have a rock axelrod. Put that in your collection basket for Pope Leo.
Amen.
They don't want your policies.
Thank you, Donald. Amen. But again, then you get bad results. It's a mixed bag. You get bad results like New Jersey. Absolute blowout of the Republican by an actual insane person. Scary. Well, as we head to the top of the hour and before Joy of the World starts, we just want to thank Roach Supply. We had a great week with them. Premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business. RoachSupply.com. That's ROCHE. And they're sponsoring the live stream. And I wore my Abe's shirt today, my Abe's hot dog shirt, because when Johnny Baz opens up his hot dog stand, Coney Island on Lackawanna Avenue, and we'll have 2 great Coney Islands. I won't get to go down and see Abe's anymore, but that's okay. I'm promoting Abe's now. Somebody takes in Bob LTS. Pope's comments are very predictable. It's easy to criticize those that will not respond irrationally and in an uncivilized manner. Trump's response was silly post. Contrast that with the response of Iran, terrorism. Contrast that with radical Islam, Charlie Hebdo, the killing of the Coptics, terrorism. I would hold the Pope in higher esteem if he criticized both. His failure to do so, in my opinion, is cowardice, and his efforts at self-preservation, says Andy from Daleville. You're right. Somebody else, how about a tent city in St. Peter's Square to house immigrants? I know it. Where is it? Quite amazing. Bob, when Moses led the Jews across the Red Sea and saved thousands of lives, remember correctly, didn't a small number of them melt whatever gold they had and build a calf to worship? I know. Just like today's liberals. You're right. You're right. Sorry, Bob, I got to disagree with you this time. The Pope simply wants all fighting stopped while the president has gone too far by portraying himself as Christ-like. Time to read Revelations 13. No. He's silly, but the policy's right. It's actually essential to save the planet. Taking the Iranian evil leadership out was essential. And on so many levels that you don't want to pay attention to, and the Pope is ignoring, it's frightening how many levels. Policeman's prayer as we head into the weekend. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street, as they wait and as they watch, doing good for all. Guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge, protect them from harm, always keep them safe and in your loving arms. Nikki DeSando bringing that policeman's prayer. And tomorrow never comes. Norma Cornett Merrick, found in the obit to the dear Doreen Goriab a couple of years ago. This is just a reach out, okay? If I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I would give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes, and today is all you get, I'd like to say how much I love you and hope we will never forget. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, young or old alike. And today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, a call, a text, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. Guys, have a great weekend. Peaceful, fun, all that. God willing, I'll be back with you Monday morning. But for now, I got to gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. We are adjourned.